Let's get deep, going deep, Chad and JT.
What up, Stoke Nation? This is Chad Kroger coming in with my compadre, JT. What up?
What up, dudes?
How you doing, my dog?
Dude, I'm doing well, man.
Looking good.
You look good.
Thanks. I'm coming straight from the gym. I haven't showered, so I'm fresh off a pump.
That's awesome, dude. I think when you share your pump with the world,
Yeah,
everybody gets a little more flexed.
for sure. I think to just come out, you don't want to just shower off and get that. You were telling me last night, keep the musk on for a little bit, and that's kind of what I did unintentionally.
Yeah, I think if you leave the day before's behaviors on your skin,
Yeah.
people subconsciously react to it and they like it because they know you're an adventurer.
You kind of just bathe in it before you put on Dial Mountain Wash body soap and just wash it all away.
All that bullshit just scrubs away like the hard-earned masculine appeal.
Yeah,
it's all built up.
It's almost like you go to the gym but you shower there, so it's like no one even knows what you accomplished.
I go home sweaty.
Yeah, if you like walk in, people are like, "Wow, that dude's working hard." Yeah,
I walk through the courtyard at my mom's house and I'm just like, everyone's like, "Oh my god, this person's really testing their limits." And I'm like, believe it. I always do an extra set.
It's funny whenever I run to one of my boys and they're like, "Wow, you're drenched." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't fuck around in the gym." And they like try to talk to me at the gym. I'm like, "Dude, I'm doing sprints, all right? So just go beat it."
Yeah, I'm like, you see this? Like, I have a clock and it's running, and if I don't like sync up with these 1 minute sets, I'm gonna fail as a human being for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Those are the stakes, partner.
Yeah, I don't wander at the gym. I have a mission. So fuck off.
Yeah, no, I dig it. I was gonna say too, like about walking around with a pump is like you could always tell, like when you'd be at the beach, like and your buddy will come down and he'll just be looking extra jacked, and like you gotta call him out. You gotta be like, "Hey, everybody, he's not normally that jacked. He just worked out.
Yeah,
like his triceps are firing extra because he just put in 10 sets. All right, don't let him fool you."
For sure, yeah. You gotta call that out because eventually that pump's gonna go down, and you gotta be like, know your place, dude.
It's false advertising.
Yeah.
It's like a McDonald's burger like in the picture where you're like, that's not what a fucking McDonald's burger looks like.
Yeah. And some dudes don't get it. They'll be like, damn, like Trevor's flexing hard. And it's like, yeah, for like the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's a pump, bro. Like, have you never experienced a pump?
Yeah.
And then they get all self-conscious and they're like, no, I know what a pump is. And you're like, dude, it's cool if you don't.
Yeah. It's like, why don't you go have an Arnold day?
Yeah.
And go watch Pump.
Pumping Iron.
Pumping Iron, that's right.
Amazing movie.
Yeah.
Because Arnold Schwarzenegger is like such a confident weirdo.
Yeah.
Like he'll just stare into the camera and be like, when I'm at the gym, I am coming. Every time I get into my biceps brain, I am coming. And then I go home and I am coming.
Yeah.
I can do a better Arnold than that. With the, when I'm at the gym, I am coming. And then when I come home, I am coming again, but with a woman. I am coming.
It's the pump. The pump is... I'm coming at the gym, I'm coming at home, I'm coming. And not to mention, dude, we got to call this out. He was always super bronzed.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing bronze. I don't know if it was fake. That might lower my stoke a little bit. But, I mean, in Pumping Iron, you're just like, whoa, this guy, he spent some serious time in the sun.
If my knowledge is correct, I think fake tanner was invented in 1963 by Vincent Madolfi. And he was the first person to bottle tan.
Interesting.
Totally made that up. Arnold is also like, he's such a smart competitor. Like he literally beats guys in flex offs by psyching them out. Like their muscle, like they feel their muscles are smaller, so then they present them as smaller to the crowd.
Yeah.
Just because Arnold gets in their head and he's like, "Oh, your calves are looking a little tiny today."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh my God, my calves are small." And Arnold's like,
yeah,
laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah, I remember I read like 20 pages of his autobiography.
That's all you need.
I got bored. But like the 20 pages I wrote, I was like, wow, this guy's a beast. And like there's one part where he's like competing with, I forget the guy's name, but he totally like psyched him out before. Or no, you know what he did? He like flexed and then he made like a gesture to be like, to act like he was done flexing for the judges. But it was like a pump fake. A pump fake flex. And so the other guy stopped flexing. And then Arnold kept going, and he's like, and the rolls just kept coming. And like, so Arnold like flexed for like at least a minute longer than this guy. Totally, he stole the show with that pump fake.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Like who would think on that level?
Yeah.
Just someone who's so close to the competitive spirit.
Yeah.
And then he's like a genius. Like I heard him on Timothy Ferriss's podcast, and he's like, he talked about how he never used like money he made from acting. He only used like money he made from like real estate.
Yeah.
And he was like, I remember in 1973, interest rates were at 7.8%. So I bought a duplex in Santa Monica and 3rd Street. And then I sold it a year later after I had split 2 of the units at a 22% profit. And I was like, oh man, speculative real estate has a huge market in California. And I was like, dude, you've like owned like 9,000 buildings at this point. Like, how do you remember the like exact details of it? And I was like, 'cause he's just a juiced up guy. Like not just on steroids, like he's juiced up on like the action of life.
Yeah, that's super impressive, especially because a dude with that kind of stature, you'd think that he would just like, he'd get all that fame and he'd just like want to like hook up with chicks and like keep lifting. But he's like, they'd be like, hey, do you want to hang out and maybe hit hot dog on a stick and like come to my place? He's like, no, I need to study buildings and interest rates. And they're like, what? And he's like, just shut up. And I don't want to say that. Just let me go study real estate and then we can bump after.
Yeah, because I think he definitely made time for love making.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because there's that, you know, him and his wife split up. I don't know if like it's official yet, but I do think they're split because he had an affair with the maid.
Yeah.
And then a love child was born out of that, and the kid would come over all the time. And he was like, oh, no, that's not my son. Oh, he's a great kid, but he's not my son. And then after like 16 years, the kid turned into like a Mexican Arnold Schwarzenegger. And his wife was like, no, that's for sure your son. He's like, no, I think when you grow up around somebody, your fucking head just turns into their head. Yeah. She was like, no, that's not how genetics work. And he was like, Maria, come on, calm down. I did not sleep with the maid 65,000 times with my super potent semen.
I'm so sorry, babe. Bumped the mate. I can't stop bumping.
He's like,
hey, sorry if I produce kids. I also produce the Terminator movie, so, you know, why don't you just be happy and just
juggle both realities. Like, I'm good at producing things. I produce multi-billion-dollar movie franchises, and I also produce very handsome young men who may or may not be my son, but I love you.
Yeah, you know, diversity is hot right now, and I want a Mexican me as well as my other son who's just a white guy.
Patrick is a good kid, but how's he gonna get parts in this new diverse community? This other kid is a beast, and he's got the Latino thing. He's hitting both boxes, Maria. Open your fucking mind.
That's called planning ahead, Murray.
Maria, I'll fucking blow you up. Do you understand? I will blow you up.
Get in the car.
Get in the car.
Get in the car.
Get in the chopper. I met Arnold Schwarzenegger at a bowling alley one time when he was with his family. And me and my friends got super jacked up. And we were like, oh, dude, give us an autograph. Get us an autograph. And he went like this. Chill. He said, just chill.
That's it?
And then he gave us autographs. But he was like, just chill. Like our vibes were like way too over the. And then I met him again like 4 years later, and my mom was like, "You met my son 4 years ago. Do you remember him?" And I was like, "Mom, he doesn't remember me." And he's like, "Oh yeah, of course, yeah. You were the guy who needed to chill."
Yeah,
he just remembers everything.
Dude, I was in Sun Valley and I saw him.
That's where I saw him.
Oh, you saw him in Sun Valley?
Yeah,
I saw him at the ice rink. You know the ice rink?
Yeah.
And he comes up. He's like, I see him walking. He's a little bit shorter than I was expecting. He's walking, you know, lats out, just like fully squared up, and he's just walking towards like the ice skating thing. And I was just like, oh fuck. And he goes to like the lady who rents out ice skates. He's like, where are my skates? And she's like trembling. She's like, oh, back there. Thank you. That was it. I didn't say anything.
Wait, he said my skates? Like did he have specific skates or just like skates for rental?
I think that's all I hear. I don't know.
He's a true Renaissance man. You wouldn't expect it because he looks like a Neanderthal a little bit, but he's like dominant in like 5 fields of life.
Yeah.
He's the fucking governor.
Yeah.
And everyone there was like, if you could change one law, what would you change? He's like, obviously you are asking me this because of the American law that you must be born in the United States to be president, and obviously I would change that law so I could run for president. You're like, dude, is enough ever enough for you, dog?
Never.
Like, it's not enough to move from Austria and then become the governor of the most powerful state in the union?
Yeah.
He's like, chump change.
Chump change. And then I said in my head, why stop there? I can be governor.
Well, let's get into another This is sad because, Chad and I, we have people that we grew up admiring, people who kind of set the tempo for us. And one of those people was Tommy Lee from the band Motley Crue, who famously was married to Pam Anderson, had a sex tape. And he's fallen on hard times. Pamela Anderson just came out calling him a narcissist and a sociopath. And she said he has a really bad drinking problem right now that is ruining his life and the life of his family, because he got socked by his 21-year-old son, Brandon, who knocked him out, left him with a fat lip. And Tommy Lee says he's going to press charges against the kid.
Damn.
For cracking him so good. But Pamela is saying that the kid was just scared for his life and acted out of self-defense. And what was really trying to do was have an intervention for Tommy Lee to get him into recovery, because he's dating a Vine star who's like a quarter his age and I guess is just plying him with booze all the time. Yeah, it's hard to see someone who was so epic on MTV Cribs and had such a killer sex layer kind of falling to his vices.
Not to mention he had a fire cameo in Viva La Bam in that Hollywood one.
I need a refresher.
So when Bam and his squad go to Hollywood and they're like getting Hollywood memorabilia, they stop by and he's just banging on the drums like you'd expect. And he's like, "Yo, Tommy, I'm getting some memorabilia, some like merchandise from Hollywood for my new skate park back home. Do you have anything?" He's like, "Yeah, totally." And gives him like his belt or something. And like, "Oh no," he gives him drumsticks. And like, "Oh, thank you so much, Tommy." He's like, "Hell yeah, dude, I want to see the park." I just knew right there that that's a cool dude. He gets skate parks. Like, he's not just like a drummer who goes upside down and just, makes sex videos. He also understands like the importance of a skate park.
Yeah, he's had some pretty prestigious moments. But I mean, his son fucking dropped him.
I feel for him, dude. And I feel for his son as well. I mean, it sounds like they're going on hard times. Addiction is tough. And I'm pulling for Tommy to pull out of this and not press charges.
You got to know when the party turns dark.
Yeah.
You got to know when it's time to rest and recuperate and recharge the batteries. And I know I go here a lot and I feel terrible being a wet blanket, but it's just because I want partying to have a little sanctity to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's sort of like, if you like become roommates with your best friend, start watching your roommate, like fold his clothes and you're like, "I fucking hate you."
Yeah.
And that's, I think with partying, you don't want partying to be your roommate. You want it to be your friend that like lives like at least a mile down the road. So like you have that distance that whenever you go see him, you're stoked. And then when you leave him, you miss him, but you know that you keep that distance. My boy, J-Rod, our boy, props to him, dude. He's staying strong now, but there was a time when he was partying way too much. And we're like, "Dude, I don't even think you like partying anymore. You just get angry whenever you party." He's like, "I know. I've just been living with the party for too long." I'm like, "It's time to move out.
Right.
Take some space."
What do you think about, I was listening to Joe Rogan earlier, and he and Brendan Schaub were talking about how there's a lot of speculation now that dinosaurs, like raptors, had feathers.
Oh.
Have you seen those images?
No.
Of like what they actually think a raptor looks like?
No.
It's kind of like a huge departure from like how Jurassic Park told us they looked.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So here's some photos. If you want to look at those top two left ones.
Whoa.
So that's what they think raptors actually look like. They think they were like half bird, half reptile.
When you started talking about it, I'm like, wow, this raptor's going to look like a complete Sally. But that actually might be scarier. Looks like it's ready for war.
It's so odd looking. Like, you're not used to like a feathered thing having a head like that.
Yeah. Damn.
It's just so weird though to me that like we had museums and they were like, "This is what dinosaurs looked like," and they like reconstructed them and they did like imaging for us, and so you go in there and you're like, "Oh, this is fact."
Yeah.
Like, this museum is telling me exactly what dinosaurs look like. And then like 10 or 15 years later, they're just like, "Oh, dude, our bad.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs actually look radically different."
Oh, dude, sorry.
Yeah, I'm like, you're a scientist or you're like what is it? Archaeologist. Like, you don't get to make mistakes in that walk of life.
Yeah.
You get it right the first time, or you don't show me shit.
I know they always bring that up. They're like, well, that's what science is. You keep proving yourself wrong. I'm like, well, then don't just tell me shit. You'd be like, oh, scientists speculate that dudes had 3 balls 100 years ago, and then they just print that, and you're like, whoa, did we have 3 balls like 100 years ago? It's like, make up your mind, dude.
Just get it right. Like this whole thing with Pluto being a planet and then not being a planet.
They're like, oh, that's just the scientific process. I'm like, well, maybe you need to like tuck your shirt in a little bit, dude. You know, don't be so sloppy with your process.
Yeah. What is it? They're saying now that T-Rexes were scavengers. This is all via Joe Rogan, the only scientist I trust.
For sure.
Like that they didn't like hunt animals, that they would find like dead animals and then just like eat that.
Oh, lame. So like if they saw Newman at the Jurassic Park, they wouldn't like eat him out of a fucking toilet?
No, they'd wait for him to die from diabetes.
I guess that's smarter.
I mean, hey, if it works, that's how you live.
But I prefer the aggro T-Rex. So you know what? I'm going to call bullshit on these dudes and be like, all right, you know, have your day, but I'm sticking with the original story. You know what? And if you want to get all scientific on me, let it be, dog. But I'm sticking with the idea that if Newman were in an outhouse in Jurassic Park, the T-Rex would break through that fucking wall and pick him up and eat the fuck out of him.
All right, let's get into the running features of the pod. Oh, first up, let me say that this week we're being sponsored by Douglas Lubricant. It's a lube for lovemaking, and it's biodegradable and it's super smooth. And I don't want to get into too much detail and be too forthcoming, but it's a great product.
Yeah, and it smells nice. I think that's a huge thing with lube. You know, it like has like a nice sort of like strawberry-ish smell, but it's like very natural. And yeah, just thank you guys so much for just providing us with like smooth boning.
Amen. Our other sponsor this week is Myers Bonsai Trees. They just make really great bonsai trees, and it's a great gift. We send them out to people all the time.
Yeah.
It's fun for people. It's something people, have to participate in, but it's not like a dog where they have to like take care of it every day. Like you just got to nip some leaves every couple weeks. But these guys have great deals on bonsai trees, beautiful branches, beautiful foliage, and I can't recommend it enough as a wonderful gift for a platonic person in your life.
Yeah, I sent
or for the love of your life.
Yeah, I sent a bonsai tree to my family friend Clarice. And she was just like super grateful, and she's like, "This is like the best bonsai tree I've ever seen." I'm like, "Yeah, it's, Myers."
All right, dude. Who's your legend of the week?
Okay, so my legend of the week is the Australian guy from Vertical Limit. There's like 2 Australian guys, but the Australian guy I'm talking about, maybe I should look up the character's name. He's the Australian guy from Vertical Limit, and he's like the main mountain dude. And I just had a chance to catch that movie the other night, and I was like super impressed with his flow. I really value having flow, but sometimes I get outside pressure from like society or like my parents, or like, you should cut your hair, and like put on some J. Crew clothes and like get real. And then I have some like self-doubt. I'm like, maybe I should, maybe I should go to Supercuts and just blend in. But then I watched Vertical Limit, and the Australian guy had such good flow, and I'm like, no, I'm one of those guys. I'm one of those mountain guys with good flow. So I just want to say thank you to Australian guy from Vertical Limit. Thank you so much for just showing me the value of having good hair and not to be ashamed or let society tell you how to cut your hair. If you got good flow, rock it, and you will be king of the mountain.
My legend of the week is Crazy Cody. Crazy Cody was a homeless guy.
Oh, Crazy Cody.
Who lived at Salt Creek.
Yeah.
A beach in Dana Point. He was super tan, so shredded, like just like built out of granite. And he just patrolled the beach. He was always friendly. He was always an energized guy. And he used to, when it would like pump, like when it was like triple overhead, like one of those rare swells comes through that's like dangerous, people would be out there like nervously looking for a wave. Crazy Cody would be just swimming in the waves.
Yeah.
And literally like howling as he got like thrown over the falls.
Yeah.
Like he'd get taken and be like, whoa!
Yeah.
And we'd be like, man, like Cody has sacrificed some things, some things of comfort. A lot of people said he came from a wealthy family and he just decided to forego that. In a lot of respects, he just chose to love meth.
Mm-hmm.
But what he's gained is oneness with nature.
Yeah.
Like he would be just doing handstands at the beach for like 20 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
He built himself into this like perfect warrior. And he was a legend.
Dude, crazy. He was always so inspiring. And like, I love the fact that he just like lived the life that he wanted to live, you know? And like doing handstands, going out in the waves like that. Like that guy is enjoying his time.
Yeah. He was very present.
Yeah. Which I dig.
All right. Who's your babe of the week?
My babe of the week is my yoga instructor, Ursula. I just started doing yoga like a few days ago. So I always sort of was like, I don't need to do yoga. It's kind of soft. But then I went to yoga and I'm like, whoa, this is like a whole other level of like testing your body and then like flexibilities. I really started to value it. And she just introduced me to this whole world of like even more stoked than I was before. Like I didn't realize that yoga actually makes you stoked. You know, I just thought it was like, some of my boys would be like, hey, I'm going to go do yoga. And I'm like, nice, dude. Are you going to go, like, eat waffles, too? Why don't you carb it up? And they're like, what? And I'm like, fuck yeah. But now I'm the clown because I realized that they were on a whole other level of stoke. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense on multiple levels. I think it's just dope that you were open-minded enough to take, like, one of your, like, violating principles, like one of, like the third rail, like there's no way I'm touching that.
Yeah.
And you still went there and gave it a shot.
Yeah, now I'm like super stoked on it. And Ursula, thank you so much. Like not only is she very in touch with Zen and just like she understands chi and flexibility, but she, not to mention she's just a mega babe. And I'm super stoked to have a new mentor.
I can't wait to meet her.
You gotta meet her, dude.
All right, my babe of the week is Tane. Tane was a girl I went to high school with. She was beautiful. Like when you saw her, you were like, oh, this is just like one of the most gorgeous women I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm in religion class with her. We're watching the movie The Sandlot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's early in the movie, and the kids haven't accepted Smalls, the new kid in the neighborhood. Tane raises her hand and goes, well, I have noticed that with groups of young people, they tend to be very myopic. And I went, what? And the teacher was like, yeah, that's very true. Good illustration of what's going on. And I was like, hold your horses. Guys, everybody, look up myopic. It means like narrow vision or narrow-minded. And so I was like super intimidated because it turns out she was a bona fide genius. Like she knew everything. Like she was a Buddhist freshman year. And she was like, and we're going to this Catholic school, and she's like, but you know, there's actually a lot of counter philosophy that says like there's less moral driven ways to be religiously inspired. And I was like, yeah, for sure. For sure, Donnie. She was like looking for stuff like that to do as like a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, all I was doing was like trying to like fit in and pound my boner.
Yeah.
And she's over here like learning about Buddhism, studying traditional dance, and being a smoke show at the same time.
Wow.
And I mean, she was so hot. She could have just like, to be that intellectually inspired and that hot is harder to do because everyone's telling you you're great already. Like, we already love you. You're hot.
Yeah.
But she wasn't satisfied with that. She was super ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And she would let you know gently that you were a novice in the kingdom of knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, when I was with her, I was always like, hey, I'm like stupid. And she's like, you're not stupid. And I was like, the fact that you just told my moronic ass that I'm not stupid means a lot to me, Tane.
It's just, you're not stupid, John. You're obsessed with pounding your boner.
Mm-hmm. You're burning a lot of calories, putting third-degree burns on your cock.
And you're letting all that energy hit your bed sheets.
Or my closet floor.
Yeah, or your socks, or you're just spraying all that energy all over. Whereas if you would just like take that energy and like hold it in, you would have this huge respect for philosophy.
I'll one day get there, Tane.
Yeah, life is more than jizzing.
I know, but it's so much easier to do than finding out all this stuff or accomplishing these goals.
Well, how much time did you take out of your day jizzing yesterday?
Well, not much time jizzing, but getting to the jizzing part, a couple hours.
Okay. Now, granted, I understand, even though I'm a chick, and I have to finger myself, I understand the urge. Like, everyone has that urge. Like, you just, like, I'm sure dudes just want to, like, spray out and just, like, claim what's theirs. But, like, have you ever thought about if you, like, keep the jizz inside and you use the energy that you would use to, like, look at hardcore anal scenes and use it to, like, read about, like, the Tao Te Ching? What that would do for you, JT?
I just wonder if, like, I don't know, I get scared, like, having all that energy, it makes me anxious. I'm just going to, like, explode.
With knowledge. You're scared of your potential, but once you keep that potential in you and use it to learn, like, Chinese or something, you'll be a fucking beast, and then I'll go out with you.
10 years later, I walked up to her as I hopped out of my Lamborghini, and I said, "Nick, you mak man." It's Mandarin Chinese. It means good to see you, honey. It could still happen.
Hey. What up, Tane?
All right, who's your beef of the week?
My beef of the week is with, you know this guy, Gary, one of the main kneeboarders out by the pier. You know, respect to you, Gary. I understand that your joints are kind of whack now. You're a little bit older, and you can't stand up on a fucking board. Yeah, I kind of get that, but you know what, dude? You don't have to drop in on every fucking wave, okay? And you don't have to claim every barrel. Getting barreled on your knees is not the same as standing in a fucking barrel, Gary. All right, so I get that you're stoked, but you're kind of diminishing the rest of the lineup stoke when, like, we're all shredding, we're all trying to shred, but you're dropping on every wave because you're in a fucking kneeboard. And just the fact that you claim those barrels too just makes me so much more pissed because, like, claims are pretty whack in and of themselves. But unless you're getting spit out at pipe, that's when you should claim. Okay, so you know what, Gary? Like cool of you to, like, be out there in the water being one with the ocean. Like, I respect that, and I respect that, like, your knees, your ankles suck or whatever's wrong with your legs. But, like, just know your place, dude. Like, you're a kneeboarder. Take some of the not as good waves. I don't know. Maybe I'm young still, and I just don't respect that the body deteriorates as you get older. But, like, I know for a fact that if my knees get all whack and I have to become a sponger, I'm not going to claim barrels, Gary. So that's my beef.
Yeah, Gary, right size your confidence. You're a junior rider, and that's something you need to think about every time you do anything.
Thank you.
That's infuriating. My beef of the week is with Noel. Noel and I were dear friends in high school. We were as thick as thieves. We were both a little bit of rebels, used to get in trouble a lot, but overall we had good souls. We just had a lot of energy and sometimes like to shake the hornet's nest at our stodgy high school. And then I ended up getting kicked out, went to another private school. Not a lot of kids there, but I kept up my mischievous ways. But I also tried to maintain some purity of my soul. And then, if any of this is making sense, and then Noel ended up getting kicked out of the same high school, and he went a different route. He really got into the whole badass thing. Like he started taking roids. He started hitting punching bags. He started saying he was having MMA fights. Then every time he tried to go to it, he'd be like, "Oh, it got canceled because the guy was too afraid of me." And you're like, "Okay, that checks out." And he joined a gang called Deuce, with 12 other buff white dudes. And they just got cups made that said Deuce, and they'd wear necklaces and gaudy tuxes to winter formal and stuff like that. And it paid dividends. Noel was getting a lot of ass, and he was getting some props from people for being a genuine tough. And I didn't mind that Noel was doing all this. You know, I thought it was kind of cool to have a friend on the other side of the law. And I had a nice car. BMW 3 Series that my parents were generous enough to give to me. And I used to leave the keys in it at night because I didn't want to misplace the keys and I didn't believe people would steal it. Then one day it gets stolen. My instinct is it was Noel because he had told me a week earlier that he was planning on stealing a car. But I was like, Noel's not going to do that. He's my friend. My mom had just given him a graduation gift, $50 gift card to Best Buy. She only gave that to my best of friends. But then I started hearing rumors that Noel stole it. He's been riding around in it. I was actually at the gym one time when he showed up, and my buddy Mike was there, and Mike saw him outside, and Mike didn't recognize that he was in my car.
It was a whack move.
We could have settled this a lot sooner, Mike, if you just would have put 2 and 2 together. Noel ended up having the car for like a month or 2, and I never called him out on it. I was too afraid. I don't know of what. Maybe I felt like I didn't deserve the car. Maybe I was afraid he'd beat me up. I don't know. But I never did anything. I ended up just doing roids and working out a lot that summer.
Well, you put that energy somewhere.
And I still didn't want to officially believe it was him. That was the big reason. I didn't want to believe it was him that stole the car, so I never did anything. But then the car got found, and I went to the impound, and his detentions and his bong were all in the car. And I was like, it was Noel.
So he wasn't discreet.
No, he even got a speeding ticket in the car.
Yeah.
But he switched the license plate with a similar model so that when he got pulled over, they didn't put it together.
Oh, fuck.
A lot of people not putting it together.
I didn't realize you did that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's intricate.
I think he got laid in the car, which is something I never did.
Oh, nice. How'd you feel about that?
I was pumped.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was
So
awesome.
there's a dichotomy in there.
Yeah, no, because I thought it was badass that he stole the car, and I thought it was badass that he got laid in it.
Yeah.
Like, what a beast.
Yeah. Yeah.
He stole my car. He got laid in it. He drove it around all the time and got a speeding ticket and never got caught. The guy's a fucking beast, dude.
Yeah.
And I never did shit about it, so he totally got away with it scot-free. Like, that dude.
Dude, what a... I was watching your face during that whole thing, and it was like, you could see it was like watching Robert De Niro. Like, it went from, like, pissed to, like, joyous, stoked.
I called him out at an Angels and Airwaves concert for being a bad friend.
Yeah.
And I really regret that because he wasn't a bad friend. He was just a badass dude. And sometimes being a badass dude means you're not going to be a very good friend.
Yeah. Sometimes you're just going to steal a car.
And then he got sober after he went to jail. And he said he was going to call me and apologize. And he never did. And I was like, of course you didn't. Like, you're busy being a badass, dude. Like, don't call me. I'm the fucking bitch who just let me have my car. Like, you should be moving on to other people's cars that you're going to steal and fuck girls in.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you should have just been like, dude, I saw God in 60 Seconds too. Totally get it.
And I rooted for Memphis Reigns, so
Totally.
I rooted for Noel when he stole my car.
Did he talk to your car like Memphis Reigns?
I think so, yeah.
Nice.
I think he would rub his fingers across the side of it and be like, boosting cars while having sex.
Dude, fuck yeah, Noel. Shout out to Noel for being a beast.
He's a beast, dude. Should we get into our questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, guys, question time. First up, I apologize for the lengthy email, but I feel a proper foundation needs to be laid in order for you to fully understand the predicament I'm in. Back in college, I met my best bro, Landon. Although we were super different, him being a bodybuilder who went baying in the gym, and me being a pussy who could barely bench 2 plates, we instantly hit it off. It was like we were long-lost brothers who banged that same chick before we knew one another. Which actually happened, by the way. Hashtag Estimo Bros. So many a night was spent pre-gaming with 40s and then having an epic rager at our local watering hole. Bogeys, while waking up on the couch in my living room the next morning with half-eaten wings and the Hangover DVD menu playing after we fell asleep during the movie. Simply put, he was the yin to my yang, the honey to my vinegar, the Chad to my JT. After we graduated, we both decided to pursue our education, me going to law school and him going to grad school at the Johnny Hopkins U. Although my stoke was down to see him move away, I was not super stoked to see him further his I was also super stoked to see him further his intellectual abilities while also not serving as a distraction while I did the same. I was always expecting him to come over so we could continue the brofest that was our life. After he got his master's, he tells me he wants to start training for the Navy SEALs and was moving to Nap City, Annapolis. Mad respect to his ambition. But I honestly never saw him becoming a SEAL, mainly because he is a huge pussy who would rather spend his Saturdays getting a pedicure handy in the little Asian tugging pool, but more so because he has such a soft heart and loving personality that I could never see him killing anyone. So I was all for him training. Turns out, he tells me the other day that the SEALs actually picked him up, and he is flying off to basic in a few months. Now I'm having a midlife crisis. I want to support my boy and see him kill some motherfucking terrorists in the name of freedom, #America. But I also don't want a bunch of Navy jabronis showing up at my door telling me my bro was KIA, killed in action. How should I maintain my stoke while at the same time being a supportive bro? P.S. If you ever need a legal correspondent for the pod, I'd like to submit my application. We will keep that in mind. Tim.
That's tough, man. I always thought about my brothers if they ever like join the army. It's a tough move because you're like stoked for them and you're stoked for what they're gonna do, and you're like, fuck yeah, like Bradley Cooper in American Sniper. But it's also like you get super worried.
I think in relationships, what really dictates how they turn out and how successful they are is how much correspondence exists and how much each person wants to grow.
Mm-hmm.
What normally ends relationships is people go in different directions in what they want and what they do and how they choose to live their life. So I think the most important thing right now is, be afraid for your friend because that means you care, and I love that. But let him grow.
Yeah, I was going to say the best thing you can do is support him. I'm bummed for you, but, I think your support for him and seeing him go along this journey and survive like basic and then like killing terrorists, that's going to be like, I think your stoke is just going to go up exponentially once you see that realized.
Yeah, and I think you guys sound like a killer friendship. Like you're doing awesome, ambitious shit and he's doing awesome, ambitious shit, and it's a bummer. You're going to miss him and you're going to be worried about him, but I got a good feeling you guys are going to see each other again and have some epic stories to exchange.
Yeah, it's going to make the bonding sessions like even more awesome.
Yeah, and if things go a little haywire when he's over there, he's going to need friends who knew him before, during, and forever after. So you can be that rock for him. Be his Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
Be a Navy SEAL in the army of your dog.
Yeah.
What's up?
And do some deadlifts with him.
Yeah, and keep lifting, bro. Mark, sup, Chad and JT. I have a serious issue ruining my stoke. My roommate and I are having serious beef. We were all out partying when his sister was visiting. I slugged too many brews and said something to her and made her cry. My roommate won't talk to me now or like any of my Instagram pics. What should I do, Mark?
Time heals all, my dog. I'd apologize for whatever you did and just let him be. You can't force him to not be pissed, but you can just do your part.
Yes, some of this is sort of contingent on how awful the thing you said to her was.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys are bros, so you guys will get through it. Just next time you're around his sister, just respectfully keep distance.
Yeah.
Prove to him that it affected you, how much you affected him with this faux pas.
Maybe offer her like a gift, like some green juice or like a bonsai tree from Myers or like some lube. Maybe some Douglas lube, just sort of like a care package. Maybe a Helix beer bong, just like all three of those.
Sam, what up, Chad and JT? A couple weekends ago, I wingmanned my boy Boomer, way less chill than Kingsley, to a Betty's house. Because he was on a dry spell and this chick can't spell no, the female in question was having a bunch of her friends over and he needed to keep the ratio under control. One of the girls that was there is one of the hottest babes in our grade and we were hitting off right off the bat. However, I should let you know that although she's a solid 9.7 and possibly the white buffalo, she doesn't operate like regular Bettys. Obviously, I say 9.7 with all due respect and in no way just see her as a number. Over the course of the night, I kept making moves and she was totally going for him. The next week in school, I kept the scheme going strong. All of her friends told me that she was down and that I should ask her to chill this weekend. On Friday night, I took that leap of faith. I hit her up and she popped me with a hard friend zone. I was crushed. I'm doing my best to rebound. The only comparison I can make to my current stoke level is how Johnny Football must have felt when the Browns put the crackdown on his raging. How do you guys deal with the friend zone, and should I continue to pursue a scheme that I was so passionate about? Help a brother out. My dog, I got a hard truth for you. There might be no way out of the friend zone. That's a reality. Once a girl puts you in the friend zone, you could end up becoming Elon Musk and she'll still think of you as that guy who was like putty in her hands or putty in his hands. It cuts both ways. But the best thing you can do is become Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to make it impossible for other people to put you in any kind of box because you're the one defining the boundaries.
Yeah. I remember one time I was in college, I was hooking up with a senior. I was like, whoa, this is awesome. And like, I was a sophomore and like all my whole squad was like, whoa. And I'm like, yeah, whoa. And I'll like, I'd be like, you know, I'd spend the night and I'd come back next morning and they'd be like, whoa. And I'd be like, yeah, whoa. But it ended after like a month. And I was just like, oh, fuck. You know, I thought like my life was over. You know, I'm like, I'm never going to match up to like that level again. But then, like you were saying, I took that hurt and that failure and I spun it around. I'm like, I'm going to become just like an even bigger beast and just like, you know, keep my distance. And then next time she sees me, she'll be the one saying, whoa. And her squad will be like, damn, like, whoa, you know? And I'm like, yeah, I flipped that on you, you know? And that's what happened. So, you just got to take that, you know, I think failure is the building blocks for life. You know, you take the failure and you just take one step up, you know?
A successful person is someone who's failed a lot.
Yeah. So you know, these things happen, and then, you know, white buffaloes, I hate to say it, but they are a dime a dozen. They keep coming around. You don't think they will, but then next thing you know, next day you're out at Burger King and you're like, whoa. So, you know, wait for those whoa moments because they'll come.
Seth, what up, dudes? My name is Seth, and this chick named Bree has really brought my stoke down. I got fucked up one night and told her she was the one, and she ghosted me. What do I do next? Please help me, bros. Thanks, Seth.
I think you could be like, although she did ghost you, but you know, I think over explanation never really leads to anything worthwhile. You know, you keep sending them texts. You're like, no, I didn't really mean that. Then be like, but you did, and you're like, well, you know, but just please don't. And they're like, no, later. So I would just, it's a tough one, man, and I hate to say it, but I think you just have to keep your distance for now and let her come back to you. Because I remember in any time when I like would just like confess my love and then it would go south, trying to like show up and just be like, oh, will you please let me explain, you know, just like, would you like, you please love me? Like it would just never work out. So I would just like keep your distance and play it cool. Be a hard body.
Seth, I would own it, dude. I would tell people. I would tell your friends, dude, you hear? I told Brie I loved her and she ghosted me. And don't take it personal. Say, I'm just fucked. I'm snake bitten. Just look out at the world and say, fuck you. I'm hurting, dog. Next time you see Brie, laugh about it. Be like, it's crazy that I love you so much and that you won't return my text. I'm really suffering over here. And then just make your pain... Because people run from the pain. People are afraid of people seeing them in pain. But if you put that pain out there, if you don't let the pain define you because you're so open about how it's inside of you, then you'll learn how to live with pain and you'll learn how to take the next step. Not running from the pain, but attacking the pain. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I would have a different approach, but I respect what you're saying.
For me, that was just me. Like, I was in love with this girl, Jessie.
Yeah.
And she ended up just boning my friends.
Yeah.
And all respect to my friends. They're hot dudes and they bring the wood.
For sure.
But she was into them. And I was always the one, like, reading her poetry and telling her how much she was the one.
Yeah.
And then I just let it be known. I was like, dude, Jessie rejected me. I would tell my friends, like, congratulations, you slept with the love of my life. And I was like, I'm a fucking loser. I can't seal the deal. I'm Nosferatu over here. And everyone was like, damn, dude, Par's like really, like I dealt with it in real time. Like I didn't stow it away. And then years down the road, she came back and was like, you were the one all along. And at that
she did?
Yeah.
Oh, so it worked out?
Yeah. It's not for her in the long run because I ended up moving on. But
oh, okay.
No disrespect to you if you're listening to this, Jesse. You know, the seesaw goes every which direction in life. But what I'm saying is, Seth, is that like if you just own it then it's not about she can't take away how you felt about her, how pure that was for you. And if you hold on to that purity, it becomes less about what she did to you and it becomes more about how you're going to live the rest of your life. What do you think, dude?
You know, I mean, total respect for that way. I mean, that's like the complete opposite of what I would do. But like, I have a ton of respect for that. And maybe that's the right way. I don't know.
I respect your methodology too, though. I mean, I think there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah. So I think it depends on the kind of dude you are. You know, like if you want to be passionate about it, let it out. But if you want to play it cool, play it cool. Feel it out. What kind of dude are you? And but I do think it's awesome that if, you know, like one of the boys would be hooking up with her, you'd be like, oh, you're going to go bone the love of my life? All right, have fun.
I try to take it in stride and like not let it fuck me up. I mean, it hurt, but
I can see they're just like walking away and you're just like, hey, where you guys going? You're like, oh, what up, par?
well, and some nights she would be like, I'm gonna hook up with you tonight, and I was like, I'd be like, cool, like, and try not to get my hopes up. And I was making her like so many playlists and like reading her like Walt Whitman quotes. And then at the end of the night, she would just like go into a room with like my buddy Andrew, and I'd be like, oh, that's her choice.
Yeah. You're just sitting out the room crying.
People would be like, why are you crying? I'm like, I'm in love with Jessie and she sleeps with my friends. And they'd be like, oh, that's a good reason to cry. I was like, yeah, how are you doing?
That would be interesting to like be like your dad in that situation and just like, what's wrong, JT? And be like, this girl's boned like all my friends except me, and I made her poetry, and you're just like, fuck, dude.
Brendan, yo, what up, broskies? I am currently a epic 45-year-old rager. I still have a shit job and have sex with randos. I love my life. My friends live vicariously through me, but when should I hang up the gloves and slow this Brendo train down? Love y'all and all the groovy vibes you send on your pod. Thank you, Brendan.
It sounds like, you know, if you love your life, if you truly love your life, what you're doing, if you love it, my dog, then keep doing what you love. You know, it sounds like, you know, you might be, society might be trying to dictate, you know, your next move, but you got to look for that within. You know, you can't just like be like, well, I'm 45 now, maybe I should finally get that telemarketing job. And then you do it and you're like, fuck, why did I do that? Like, I like what I was doing, you know? So, you know, I'm not 45, but upon hearing that, I would say stick to what you love. Dig deep inside and be like, is this what I really want to be doing? And if it's a big yes, then do it.
Brendan, it all depends on the quality of the randos you're sleeping with.
That's a good point.
If you're sleeping with like girls that you're not really into and you're kind of just like matching up with the dregs and they feel the same way about you, then yeah, it's probably time to find a more meaningful life. But if you're like Dan Bliznarian without like, you know, the heavy douche vibes, then I see no reason to slow it down.
Yeah, if he says he loves it.
45 is still young.
Yeah, it could be, you know, he says he loves it, but like at this point, you know, like the randos are just like, some of his boys would be like,
yeah, if your experiences are like, yeah, I'm going to go take that mother of three with a drinking problem and horrible eczema into the porta potty outside, and we're going to shove fingers up each other's asses while we choke each other. I'd be like, yeah, maybe it's time to slow down.
But to each his own, dude. If you're a finger butt guy, respect.
The details aren't as important as the overall message of these experiences are not enviable. If it's enviable,
yeah,
continue.
Hey, dude, isn't that the crack whore from the corner?
Yeah, Marissa. She has a name, bro.
Oh, her name's Marissa? Hi, Marissa. What's up?
Oh, she's so eloquent. Come here, babe.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
What? You don't want me to wear a condom? Good, I don't want to wear one anyways. I want to be risky with you tonight. Let's do the most dangerous sex possible. I gotta go, dude. Aiden, what up, my dudes? So I've had my girl over to my place a couple times, and my brother's cat's been getting pretty handsy.
What? What?
It makes sense that pussies attract, and it seems consensual. But I still don't like to see it happen. You guys always give spot on advice, and I love the pod. So yeah, what should I do? Thanks.
Maybe just try to embarrass the cat a little bit. I know I would always have fun embarrassing my cat when he'd be like taking a dump in the litter box. I would like laugh at him, and he'd get all shy and stuff, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I dominated you." So you could do that.
I think that's the answer we were looking for.
Yeah.
Oh, Scott. Okay, real talk. JT, on a previous episode, you shared that you quit porn. What are the steps you took to escape the lion's den? I've been trying to quit, but keep going back. Help a brother out. I take this super seriously because I really did watch way too much porn, and it hurt me in various ways. I mean, most basic, just wasting time, and most serious and personal, I think it hurts your brain because you start thinking of sex in like way too intense and stimulating of ways. I think that you have to have willingness if you want to quit porn. And one of the hardest things about porn is that it's accessible. You know what I mean? It's on your computer. You need your computer. It's on your phone now. It's everywhere. And so it's not like booze where you can just keep it out of the house. You know what I mean? Like your crack pipe is always right next to you. So whether that's your penis or your computer. So what I would do, dude, is like, and I don't know if you can take these steps, but I gave my laptop to Chad. Mm-hmm. For a couple months until I was like sure that I was like out of the woods. And it was a pain in the ass because then if I had to do like work or like take care of shit, I had to like coordinate with him. But it helped me a lot. And the main reason it helped me is because it showed my self-willingness. Like I took a drastic step that made my life more inconvenient in order to help myself. And my subconscious took that truth that I was helping myself, and it made me stronger in my abstinence from porn. So you got to be willing, man. And it sounds easy, but you have to then take steps that show willingness.
Yeah, I actually quit porn too. Not that I had a serious issue with it, but I learned about how it affects your dopamine, like so it lowers your happiness, and also makes it like I had some issues. In college this girl visited me and then I couldn't get a boner, and I thought it was because I was watching too much porn. Turns out I was doing too much coke. Go figure. One of the life's big conundrums is it too much coke or too much porn. I think even though I didn't have a huge problem with it, when I was able to cut it out, I think the way I would just you can go on YouTube and you can always find videos that will remind you why you did, because I think the feeling of like getting a full-on rager for like a beautiful natural lady is so much more fulfilling than like bukkake.
Well said. And Scott, another thing you can do is there's like groups, you know what I mean? Like there's if you really seriously feel like you have a problem and you really seriously need help, look into some recovery groups around that. And actually, Scott, just email me and I'll give you my phone number and I'll give you my email, and I can get you started off the mic and help you on your journey, dog.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, no, for real, man. It means a lot to me. So I got your back if you want help getting into this, getting out. Cameron, what up? My name is Cam and I work in the corporate world where full flow is unacceptable.
Shame. Goddamn
Holy
shame.
Shit.
We need the Australian guy from Vertical Limit
to just walk into that office and be like, I can sell whatever you're selling, and I can do it with long hair. My name is Cam, and I work in the corporate world where full flow is unacceptable. I said it one more time just so the audience would understand the depth of this nastiness. I feel way more stoked when I've got that fire flow, so this really bums me out from time to time. Do I just let it roll and keep firing, or get out, make less muns, and grow some fire-ass flow? Where you at on this?
Let me just reread it so I can get the full, because this is like the porn question for you. I had a time after college where my dad was like, it's time to fucking man up, Chad. Cut your hair, go to Banana Republic, and get a real job. And I spent 2 months. I cut my hair. I went to Banana Republic. I put on some sweaters. I put on some like salmon-colored pants. It was horrific. And my stoke level dropped so low that I was even less productive than I was before. and then going there made me realize, I was like, I cannot live a lie like this. I cannot give in. And I grew my hair back out. I went back out to the beach. I got bronzed. I got those blonde highlights from the sun. And I went from, I'd say I started out with the flow at about a level 6 dude. And then I cut my hair. I went to about a level 2. And then when I realized who I am, I became a level 8. And then, so I think, I mean, you're saying here, do I let the flow go out and make less months? But you know what, dude? If you stay true to who you are, I think you're going to find that if you own that, you own your flow, you're going to make way more months and just like live your best life. So I would encourage you to grow that flow out and be who you are.
Cam, I think that's ideal direction number 1. The only point of view I can share that involves staying at your job is that Nelson Mandela knew in his heart that apartheid should end, and he knew that he would be the right leader for a healing South Africa. And he knew that when he was in jail, when they had him in a cell on a small island for decades, he maintained that truth in his head, even though everything in his practical reality told him it would never come to fruition and that he would always be stuck, unable to fix what was going on in the world around him. But he maintained that optimism. So while you're at this job, maintain that optimism that one day you'll get out of that job and you will take over a company of your own and you will encourage flow and you will build the kind of world you know is better.
JT, that was profound. And I just want to thank you, express gratitude to you for finding a comparable analogy to what is happening here. Thank you.
I dig Mandela, and I dig Chad's flow. Quick quote from Nelson. Fucking internet's moving slow as shit. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Dear Chad and JT, I sent in a question last week, but it seems that you guys didn't get to it in the 8th episode. I'm not bothered by this since I know the life of an internet /surfer bro /entrepreneur can be quite a daunting one. At least sounds like it. I thought I would try again with another email. So here's my question. So this girl I dated for about 1 year goes to school with me. We broke up over the summer, and ever since the school year started, she's really been killing my vibe, telling people all these rumors about me, giving people I don't even know that well a terrible impression of me. I tried waiting things out, but it seems like she hasn't stopped. How do I settle beef that I'm not contributing to? I'd be stoked if you enlightened mentors could shed some helpful wisdom on a fellow bro. Best, Edward D.
Man, Edward, this is a tough one. So she's just spreading rumors about him, like just because they dated, and then she's just unprovoked. Just
according to Edward, she feels jilted or she's pissed off, and she's lashing out by saying bad things about him to other people in his circle.
You know, I think this goes back to, I think we had a similar situation on another episode where it was similar in that this guy was just creating beef out of, for no reason. And I think this is one of those situations where you can let her just do her thing, and the more she does it, the worse she'll look. Trust me. I know it hurts right now. And then I think the biggest thing for you is to sort of lead by example and just be like a strong fire dude. So people will be like, whatever her name is, Jane was saying all this shit about him, but he's actually like a really cool dude. Maybe Jane's the asshole. And eventually things will slowly turn around. And that's what'll happen.
I totally agree, dude. Just take yourself out of the muck. She's going to date another guy at some point, and then she's going to pull the same game on that guy. And then people are going to be like, wait, the common denominator is you.
Yeah.
And then I would also point to the Michael Douglas movie, The American President. He's getting badmouthed by the guy on the he's running against, and the guy keeps calling him a bitch and all this shit, and he's not responding, and his crew is like, hey, you're the president, respond to this bitch. And he's like, nah, like, I'm the president, I don't respond to bitches like that. But then at some point he realizes that, like, since this other guy's the only one talking, people are just believing what this guy says because it's the only narrative out there.
Yeah.
So then he just steps up at the end and he throws down a fucking monster 5-minute speech where he rips the fucking bullshit out of this other guy, puts it out on the table and says, you see this nonsense? This is what's wrong with everything. I don't support it, so I'm taking it down, and I'm not letting you run over me anymore, motherfucker. But the fact that he was patient about it and he only did it once is what gave it power. So let her talk shit, and then if the moment's right, watch the speech a lot so you can bone up on how to deliver a magnanimous, rousing call to arms. You'll come in and you'll fucking bring the fucking what up on her, and then everyone at the school will be like, oh my God, Edward.
Maybe you could have a political platform, like maybe run for like special events coordinator, and then in your speech you'd be like, by the way, I'm going to throw a rager for the entire school, and then you go into your spiel. Yeah,
and then you'd be like, and by the way, Lisa was only mad at me because I didn't want to date her anymore. But or more eloquent. Watch American President.
That was good, though. It's a
start.
That would be somewhat effective.
It's a start.
I think you'd have to have a little more confidence in the delivery.
Yeah, and maybe some better details.
But I like where your head's at.
My head's in the right place, but you're going to have to do some of the legwork, Edward. Yeah. Edward.
You got this, dude.
You got this. Watch The American President. It's a great movie.
Guys, that will be it for episode 9 of the Going Deep with Chad and JT podcast. Thank you guys so much for writing in. We love your questions. I'm sorry if we don't get to your question. We are trying to get to all of them, so just know that. And you guys, check out our Patreon. We have bonus content on there. We have, a new monthly episode and some audio, video content you can check out. So we want you guys to check all that out if you want. And just thank you guys so much. Check us out. Leave us a review or rating on iTunes. We love that. Keep writing in. Stay stoked, guys. JT?
Stay stoked, brothers.
All right, later, guys.
What's with me?